Welcome everyone. Today we have a very good, very great personality with us, who is currently president of Reliance Industries Petrochemical Division, Mr. Unmesh sir. I welcome Mr. Unmesh sir to our podcast, The Plastic Pearls. So Unmesh sir, हम लोग 50 साल कंप्लीट हो गए in plastics, and our family completed 50 years, and as a VK Polymers we associated with the Reliance for last 25 years, so we are completing 25 years this, so that's why we welcome you to our new initiative.
Thank you.
So let's start with your introduction, sir. How do you come into the plastics?
So at the outset, first and foremost, hearty congratulations on completing. I didn't know that the family has been there for 50 years.
Yes.
And but more importantly, as I mentioned yesterday evening, that Reliance thanks its channel partners, and more so, 25 years is a pretty long journey.
Yeah.
So thank you for your support to keep the flag of Polymer Reliance Industries in Maharashtra.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I wish to see you on the 50th year of completion.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, coming back to the question on my personal journey in polymers, so I cannot say it was a scripted journey or anything of that sort, because when you pass out of 10th standard, you don't know what you have to do.
Right.
It's basically your parents decide what you need to do. And at that point of time, we had only 3 streams, that is science, engineering and arts. We didn't have so much of exotic options what we have today. So yeah, by default, since I was in science going school, I went into engineering. And I started with DJ Sangvi, which is now called, earlier it was called as Bhagubai Polytechnic in Mumbai. And I did my diploma in chemical engineering.
Right.
I came out of chemical engineering, then they said, abhi diploma se kuch nahi hota hai. You need to do some degree. So that point of time, only 2 options were there. As a diploma student going to degree, you had an option going to, or rather 3 options were there. You can go to LIT, you can go to UDCT, or you can go to MIT. MIT that time was a fresh college started by Professor Karad. And at that point of time, they were really asking people to come into a polymer. And polymer was a new stream at that point of time. So yes, my father said, okay, because we had a business association in Pune. My father was into automobiles and we had our office in Pune. So he said, why don't we try Pune? So that's how I landed into MIT Polymers. And I remember passing out of MIT Polymers, then they said, abhi degree se bhi kuch nahi hota, you need to do something more. But at those time, maybe the circumstances were different, and I got a job into Garware wall ropes. So that's how I started my career into wall ropes. So the first 10 years, if I have to break my journey, it is more into the shop floor. Started the plants at 3 different places, was a hardcore production guy, shop floor guy, man management. And then come 2000 or 1997, I said that let me go to the marketing side of polymers, because no one used to know. अगर आपको बोलेंगे कोई कि यार किधर काम करते हो, और मैं अगर किसी को बोलता हूँ यार मैं वो इंजेक्शन मोल्डिंग वाले कंपनी में काम करता हूँ, तो कोई लड़की भी नहीं देता, honestly speaking. And forget that, I mean, so it used to be very low profile guy. I mean, even in banks, if you have to ask for a housing loan, and if you say that I work for, I don't want to name the organization because it's a demeaning on the organization, but let's say मैं इंजेक्शन मोल्डिंग 10 मशीन संभालता हूँ, उसका मैं जनरल मैनेजर हूँ, it doesn't cut ice.
Right.
So that's when you understand that yes, you need to work in a corporate sector. So 97, I took the swipe and I went into NMIMS. I did my MMM, marketing and operations. And when I passed out of 2000, I started looking out for corporate side, and that's when I came to the glamour side of polymers.
Right.
I started working for BASF. So BASF, I was there. It was in operations in Ludwigshafen. I was blessed to be given an exposure in Germany. So 3 years in Ludwigshafen, and then 10 years in Dow Chemical. And in Dow, my actual career started flourishing when they moved me from Europe to Middle East, to India, and then to Asia Pacific and Australia, New Zealand.
Okay.
So I got a full exposure of diverse cultures and diverse geographies. And then 2014, after I was tired of too much of traveling in Asia Pacific, I was used to travel like 27 countries was my responsibility.
Oh.
So Monday night you start traveling, and till Friday you are just traveling, visiting different airports and different cities. No, you don't get to see anything, but yeah. And then I said, okay, let me come back to India. And that's when Reliance was looking out, or Reliance was also experimenting at that point of time. If you see Reliance journey of all the leaders, they are bred from the bottom. I mean, right from the scratch, they go up. But at that point of time, our chairman took a very bold initiative that he got a couple of us from outside the industry on a lateral level to head the BUs, the business units. So I was one of that experiment. In 2014, I started with polypropylene business head. And after 3 years, and I think that is the highlight of my career, one fine day, my boss, Ajay Shah, he called me and he said, you have to handle J3. J3, if you know, was a jewel in Reliance thing, and it was an investment which was coming after 20 years. And after 20 years, a big investment coming in, and I had to take it to fructification, and I took it from scratch to sell out mode in a matter of 3 years. So I think that was the highlight where I got recognized, and at the same time, the company also rewarded me by higher responsibilities. After completion of this, COVID struck. Then they told me I have to take care of a joint venture with Sibur. And there also the new fresh capacities were coming, and challenging times were COVID times. But again, I managed to deliver the results. So they gave me with this assignment currently, where I am heading the entire, I would say, hydrocarbons, that is the cracker, and the polymer section. So that's where I am. So it's a journey being of about 94 to now, so about 31 years.
31 years.
And I would say I've been blessed and been lucky.
Right. So in this journey, actually, you came from shop floor to a great management level. So how do you transform yourself? Because many people right now, why I'm asking this is because many people are at start of their journey. They have to think, yes, we need to transform ourselves so that we can also get to a management level in any company, or start a new business with a thinking to transformation in the personality, in a way of thinking is important in journey. So how do you transform? How do you develop yourself?
So see, I think first and foremost, I'll slightly take you to a different angle. I mean, in 1994, when I was in college, a general thing was that यार सबको IT में जाना है, या सबको, because computer was the in thing that point of time. And everyone, whoever you spoke to, बोलेगे नहीं यार अभी computer science करायचा है, नहीं let's say ENT, that was at that time our college was offering ENT, that is electronic and telecommunication. So those were the in things.
Right.
So I have seen that many of our guys, if you talk about the 1994 batch, I'm only talking polymers guys, hardly maybe 5 or 7 people would be still there in the core polymers. Rest everyone switched to IT, or someone started their own business or whatever. But I think the main thing, and I look after, let's say 30 years down the line, when I see the peers. So everyone is at the apan bolto na, the race started differently for different people. But after 30 years, probably all of us are at the same, maybe in terms of stature, in terms of money, in terms of social recognition, everyone is at the same par.
Right.
So what it means is, I would say a simple mantra is you need to stay the course. Yes, you need to be agile. You need to have that flexibility. Just some people are, when I interview people today, they say, नहीं मैं तो production का आदमी हूँ, मेरे को market से कोई मतलब नहीं है. So it will not take you many places.
Right.
So you need to be agile. You need to be flexible. And yes, if you have decided that, okay, this is my line, be it anything, it's not just polymers, in mechanical mana, kai mana. So you will have to stay the course. There will be ups and downs. A career
Right.
cannot be only an upward
Upward
trajectory.
track.
It will have some lateral movements, it will have some downs. But if you believe that this is the line for me, then I think it will eventually work out.
Right. Okay. And in this your journey, what are your inspirations, or what motivates you, or how you keep yourself motivated?
So for me, I would say my biggest motivation maybe was my mother. I lost my mother at a very young age. I lost her in 1988 when I was only 16, 17 years of age.
Oh,
And she was not that educated. Maybe, I don't know, because the memories is so faded. But she used to मराठीमध्ये म्हणायची का पैशाचं कीच कर. म्हणजे आपण बोलतो ना का काही कर, टेक द व्हॅल्यू आउट ऑफ दॅट.
okay.
Don't just do something I came from a very blessed background, but that doesn't mean that I had access to everything and anything. My father used to give me a monthly allowance of $1,000, and I had to manage in that $1,000 the entire thing. So again, coming back to your question, my inspiration obviously has been my parents, my mother and my father, because they made us realize that don't take anything for granted, though you have come from a very blessed background. But now if you ask me, is I always challenge, and I have a very people who know me very closely, I have a very I would say a typical statement is what next. So every 2 years or every 3 years I challenge myself, okay, I've come here, what is the next step for me, and for that step what I need to do today. So let's say when I came to general management, as I told you, from production I came to marketing, and then obviously the eye is okay, the next job. So you need to start preparing for the next job on day one of you taking over this thing.
All right.
So for, let's say, for today's example, my next job would be heading the entire petrochemical sector for my company. Now I'm a hardcore polymers or
Yes.
elastomers guy. Or rather I have a very limited knowledge of the other side of RIL business, that is the polyester or the
Right.
crude. So I need to start investing my time in learning those aspects.
Okay.
Now, then only I can say I can raise my hands up when an opportunity rises, maybe 3 years down the line, that okay, I'm ready. So what keeps me ticking is the challenge of always challenging myself and the question, what next for me?
That's good. यानी कि
Keep
you
on
need
moving.
to keep on learning.
Of course.
The things which you don't know, get it, learn it.
Yeah, I mean, as our current chairman also says that you need to unlearn to learn.
Yeah.
So don't come with a preconceived notion कि यार नहीं ये ऐसे ही चल सकता है.
Exactly.
You need to keep on reinventing yourself, and in today's time specifically, when there are so many new terminologies coming, I mean, just to tell you, if I say कि यार वो 1994 में मैंने जो थियरी पढ़ा था पेट्रोकेमिकल का वो आज भी relevant है, I will be gone. I'll have to keep on updating my knowledge base every time. Then only I will come over to in reality of today.
Right. Okay. About Reliance you are working with. I have just started Reliance, working with my father around 15 years back. But before that, he was worked with the old team mainly with Reliance. When Reliance was just started their all Hazira and Jamnagar for PE and PP. He always told me that Reliance is a very disciplined company. रिलायंस से हम लोगों ने 25 साल में क्या सीखा, तो रिलायंस से फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन सीखा, रिलायंस से हम लोगों ने विजन सीखा. उन टैगलाइन नहीं है, ग्रोथ इज लाइफ. इट्स अ सिंपल थिंग, बट रिलायंस मीन्स ग्रोथ. क्योंकि रिलायंस ने आज तक हम लोगों को क्या सिखाया, तो एक विजन दिखाना सिखाया कि बड़ा कैसे सोचो, और उसके साथ एक बिजनेस में डिसिप्लिन भी सीखा. वैसे और आज के रिलायंस में आपका आगे का थिंकिंग उनका कैसा है, क्या है, और कैसे हम लोग रिलायंस से और कुछ रिलायंस का आगे का सोचना कैसा है?
So you hit a very valid point, Vishesh. So think think about it this way. Reliance has evolved over a period of, I mean, we are now, I think, a 45 years old company. I'm talking about industries, Reliance Industries. The core has remained same. And as you rightly said, our founder chairman used to think, dream big.
Yes.
Idea is no one's monopoly.
Yeah.
आइडिया कुछ भी हो सकता है, वो किसी ने
किसी
उसने
का।
थप्पा नहीं लगाया कि ये मेरा आइडिया है, ये तुम नहीं कर सकते.
Right.
राइट. सो इफ यू सी द जर्नी ऑफ रिलायंस इन 45 years, it's evolved so many times. I mean, earlier it was a trading company. It went backward integration.
Yeah.
Polyester. From polyester, they went into petrochemical. From petrochemical, they went into crude and explorations. That was, I would say, one phase. But then did we stop at that? No. Probably chairman, to the best of my knowledge, would be one of a few persons in the world who has transformed 4 different verticals.
Right.
If you read Walmart, or if you read other business families also, maximum you can see 1 transformation or 2 transformations.
Yeah.
But here, he has taken petrochemicals to a different direction. Then he went into telecommunications, that is Geo. Then he went into retail. And now he's going into new energy. So every 4-5 years, Reliance has kept on challenging themselves and evolving in a different thing. But the core has remained same. As you are saying, yes, it has to have a vision of being the best and the biggest in that segment.
Yes.
So think big. Second, what you rightly said is financial discipline is the mantra.
Yeah.
I mean, in our business also, we incentivize people to pay on time. Why is that? Because, again, the central philosophy is we are into a capex building initiative. So for me, money is king, right?
Right.
I need to get the money to keep on investing to grow big.
Right.
I cannot afford to give a long credit, and cash flow management is a big thing here. So yes, these 2 things, the core has remained same. But what chairman feels is every 4-5 years we need to keep on reinventing so that we grow.
Right.
We cannot be saying satisfied, अभी मैं petrochemical का दादा बन गया तो अभी मैं और कुछ नहीं करूँगा. And that's how you see. So today, Geo, we are number 1. Retail, we have the highest footfalls in the country. And new energy at the scale at what we are doing. I mean, in Prime Minister's vision of having 100 gigs of solar in the country, Reliance is betting that we will be having 10 gigs. 10 gigs of renewable power. And that 10 gigs is just not one stated objective. The stated objective is, and this is in public domain, that we want to be a net zero company by 2035. Whereas India's vision is that we will be a net zero by about 2060 or 2075. I'm not sure. So we are thinking way ahead of the time.
Ahead of time. Right. Yes.
So that is what is you
that
can
is
learn.
what Reliance is.
Yes.
Because I have always think जब हम लोगों को पहले CDMA का मोबाइल आया था, उस वक्त हम लोगों को बुलाया गया था. एंड फॉर्चुनेटली उस दिन मुकेश सर ने हम लोगों को एड्रेस किया था. सो एट दैट टाइम ही टोल्ड कि ये मोबाइल सिर्फ मोबाइल नहीं रहे. माय विजन इज दिस मोबाइल शुड बी यूज्ड एज अ क्रेडिट कार्ड इन द सुपर स्टोर.
And it's happening today. You have your
nobody
GPay.
was thinking in that way at that time, and today everyone is using only UPI. Mobile से payment हो.
I mean, just to give you our examples, like when we came with 1 million ton of polypropylene, or when he came with J2, that was 1 million tons of SEZ, the polypropylene consumption in India was maybe 100, 200, 300,000 tons.
Yes.
And here we are coming with a capacity which is 3x or 4x of India's consumption.
Exactly.
And look what happened. In next 2-3 years, it got sold out. So the capacity came first, and then the demand was generated.
Yes.
So that can only come if you have a vision and if you have that ability to think big.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reliance is always a ideal company to think, क्योंकि उनका जो सोचने का तरीका है वो बहुत अलग है. They think in a very different way. उनके और इनोवेशनल अप्रोच के बारे में आप कुछ बोल सकते हैं? कैसे रिलायंस इनोवेशन थिंकिंग
So, I mean, couple of things I can give you example, or rather, let's maybe restrict to polymers because I
Yeah,
understand this is
about polymers only
yeah.
because we are.
So in petrochemicals, I mean, the classic time was when COVID hit us,
Yeah.
and as we all know, everything was shut shop,
Yes.
and those 3 months, uh, people didn't know what to do, right? But our chairman said, not a single day our plants are going to be shut. So here you are like producing tons and tons of material every day, but your main consumption center, India, is shut shop.
Right.
So what we do, in a matter of 7 days, we switch our market from India to China. And
7 days.
विदिन 7 days. तो यहाँ पे अगर आपको बोल रहे कि यार मेरा बनाया हुआ बसाया हुआ मार्केट है पूना, मैं यहाँ माल बेच रहा हूँ और आप खुदा ना खास्ता मार्केट बंद हो गया, आपका प्रोडक्शन चालू है, and it is not 1 ton 2 ton, I'm talking of thousands and thousands of tons, and suddenly you switch, okay, now I have to go to Bombay. So easier said than done. First of all, you need to have customer there. Secondly, you need to provide for logistics, कि ऐसा तो नहीं कि माल इधर का माल उधर डायरेक्ट जा सकता है.
Exactly.
And there were the challenging times when there is no one to help you out. No people are there. There is a restrictions in road movement, man movement, everything. And that's when we switched it and we diverted our cargoes to 100% exports. So what we did, we had to mobilize our manforce. We had to mobilize international shipping guys. And there were no ships docking in India at that point of time.
Yes.
So we had to call ships from Middle East. We had to get it here in the middle of the sea. We had to keep our cargoes ready. Then the ship would come and take all the cargoes to China or to other countries.
Other countries.
And that's how we managed. So what was the innovation is this? The innovation was the flexibility in approach. The direction was that we will not shut shop. We will keep on running the plants. But the innovative approach was, okay, let's try to look at different markets. That was one.
Speed.
Secondly, yes, again, during COVID, if you recollect, there was a huge shortage of oxygen.
Yeah.
People wanted oxygen. And in Reliance plants, one of the plants, we make oxygen, but that's a chemical grade oxygen.
Okay.
But there is no dirt to that oxygen that we make. Immediately a call was taken, we need to make that oxygen from chemical grade to a human medical grade. Some capex was required. We did it. And then we were shuttling oxygen from one of the plants, that's at Jamnagar, to Bombay, to Delhi, to Rajkot, just to cater to the human needs. So innovation was, how do you transport so much of oxygen? And at one point of time, I know the bullets, the oxygen bullets, they have been transported in an air cargo, just so that it reaches people on time. So these are some of the things which, so whenever again, in Reliance we believe when we are challenged, we come up with some unique different solutions, which we don't think, is it possible at that point of time?
Yes. How Reliance thinks about its a customer-centric approach, because Reliance whenever comes in the market in anything, like in polypropylene and everything, it always gives things about customers' application, how it will be more easy for the customers. So how is the Reliance its customer-centric approach? Can you just explain?
So one of the stated values of our organization is customer value.
Yeah.
And so it's very clear right from the top, from chairman, that whatever is good from a customer for perspective, so we will always, so our policies you take or our development, what you mentioned, you take it always on how will the customer benefit by using RIL products. And for that we have a PARC in Baroda.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
We have a PRC, which was earlier in Chembur, when we were relatively small. But now we have a full-fledged product application center in Baroda. We have a design capabilities in RCP in Mumbai. So we literally help the customer from the design stage. If a customer, for example, if a customer says, "मेरे को पानी pack करना है," that is the ask. Now it can be done in a PET bottle, it can be done in a glass bottle, it can be done in a metal bottle, anything. So we really help the customer from a design stage. you design the product, then it's not necessary when at the time when you are designing that you have to buy RIL product only.
Right.
You, for all you know, you might say I want a polycarbonate bottle, and Reliance is not into polycarbonate. That's fine. So this is one vertical where you help. Second is then the testing. Again, at testing at Baroda, it is not necessary that you have to be a RIL customer.
Oh,
So classic case when, so we also have a rubber division where we have, so I have a rubber testing division at Baroda.
okay.
So whenever, let's say, a new product is launched in the country, I'm talking from an automotive perspective, tire bolo या dashboard bolo, कोई नया material डालना है, even if you have to test it, we do it at our Baroda facilities.
Oh,
So it is not necessary कि भाई तुम हमसे माल नहीं लेते हो तो हम तुम्हारे
तो
लिए डेवलपमेंट नहीं करेंगे करके.
right.
So that customer first or customer centric approach is there in each and every stage, design stage, testing stage, and then comes the product. So when we, it's not कि मैं यही बनाऊंगा और यही मैं माल बेचूंगा. The classic case right now is we recently partnered with one of white goods manufacturer in the country, one of a Korean major, and where their molds were different,
Right.
and they are into a big size refrigerators. So
Okay.
the traditional material doesn't go in those material molds. Is they are not. So we had to modify our grade slate. We had to modify our product process, and we delivered it. And now that customer is 100% RIL customer only because he appreciates that we went with an open mindset and we developed a product just for that
Just for
company.
So, PRC, and how a customer can approach to the PRC?
So easiest thing is you go to Baroda and we have a full team. But I mean, just as a extension, maybe if you are in connect with my territory officer or a territory manager, you tell him, okay, भाई मेरे को ये टेस्ट करना है या मेरे को तुम किसी से कनेक्ट करके दो
ये
PRC
product
में.
develop करना है.
Product development. He can directly connect you to this thing. So there is no, I would say, a process or a hierarchy नहीं इधर से ही जाएगा ये अप्रूव करेगा तो ही जाएगा. You can directly approach PRC. That's the
This
product
is
application.
the PRC is for industrial service.
Yes, it is for the industry. It is
Right.
not. The stated objective is that we will develop the application for the industry. Many times it happens. I mean, let's understand. We all of us are into a commodity product.
Right.
So I help a customer develop a product, and for all you know, maybe after 3 months, he may buy from my competition. That's fine. As long as the application is developed, and then anyone and everyone can benefit from that application.
Right.
And you would have seen, I mean, the raffia industry, the Leno bags industry in Maharashtra, onion and potato जिसमें pack होते हैं. Then the rigid bottles. Classic case is Amul,
Amul.
the pouch. We are 100% supplier to Amul, but the likes of, let's say, Gokul or the likes of Mother Dairy, they are supplied by other industries. That's
Right.
fine. But the application was championed by Reliance in India.
Yes. Azun, you want to add something?
I can give you a very classic example of when I was mentioning that when we started with polypropylene plant, and as I told you, that time it was only a 300,000 tons market, roughly. I don't remember the exact numbers. And we came up with a 3x or a 4x capacity.
Capacities.
So what do you do? So raffia packaging was the biggest application of polypropylene.
Right.
But that application was not developed so much in India. So what Reliance did is they started a marketing division only for that, where we used to go in the international market. We used to take orders from the international buyers.
Oh.
Let's say, just to give an example, let's say a pharma company. Pharma company में आपको API मतलब आपका जो फॉर्मुलेशन है उसको पैक करने को आपको बड़े बड़े बैग्स लगते हैं.
Jumbo bags.
Jumbo bags लगते हैं. So Reliance goes there, talks to that buyer, okay, I will supply you. But Reliance doesn't have the downstream here, right?
Right.
Reliance comes back to India, I mean the persons, and they give orders to 1, 2, 3, 4 small processors. Where Reliance is standing the guarantee to the outside world कि quality is my responsibility. ये processors को बोलते हैं मैं तेरे को माल देता हूँ, तू ये माल बना. Reliance के नाम पे वो माल बिकता था. And this happened for a good 4 or 5 years. Till the time we understood that, okay, now the baby has grown, now these processors can stand on their own. Then what Reliance does, Reliance goes, sells, this is the buyer, this is the processor, you can do direct business, I'm stepping out.
Right.
So today, this bag, what you said, the big bags industry or the entire raffia industry in India, this is about a 2 million tons market.
Oh,
Who developed it? I can proudly say
Reliance.
Reliance developed it. The processors have become big enough, and not that they are only wedded to Reliance today. They can buy from co-producers, they can buy from importers.
Right.
But today that entire industry, at least in back of their mind, recognizes that आज मैं जो भी हूँ
Reliance की वजह से.
Reliance के वजह से हूँ. Maybe they might not say it so openly, but at the back of their mind, they definitely know that
Yeah.
yes,
Yes,
Reliance has
absolutely.
helped me in some way or the other.
Absolutely. About your industry insights.
So industry insights. So
Means current trends in
yeah,
our market, domestic and
I can
global market.
split it up into two parts. One is what it means for a producer like us, and B, what it means for our customers.
Right.
That is the processors, right? So first, from the petrochemical industry's perspective. So presently, we are going through a trough, and historically, this is the longest trough that we are into.
Yeah.
So this trough, what we are talking about, already 3 साल हो चुके हैं, and generally a petrochemical cycle, you see that it starts coming up within a matter of 3.5 years. But this trough is going to be long and deep, and we feel that we are in this long haul maybe for another 2.5-3 years. So this is going to be a trough of about 6 years.
6 years.
So what is going to happen is, and there are various factors. I mean, one is obviously because of the geopolitical issues which is happening. So the energy prices are high in Europe.
Right.
And Europe has been the bedrock of chemical engineering, right? So Europe is struggling. US, thanks to again political issues, every morning you have a different direction coming from US. So it's in a state of fluctuation, volatility. But I think the biggest factor today is that there is a lot of overbuild of capacity in China. And what that has done is the entire global trade flows has changed, because China, in its quest of self-sufficiency, they have built up like 50%, 60% of the global plants in one country.
Oh.
तो लेट्स से अगर आज पॉलीएथिलीन की खपत आज अगर समझ लो कि लेट्स से ऑन अ ग्लोबल लेवल इट इज समथिंग लाइक 120 million metric tons per annum. But China, in its quest of self-sufficiency, they're building up plants as big as like 40 million tons या 45 million tons खाली China में बनेगा. So what that will do is globally some of the plants will have to shut down. So consolidation will happen. So because of this global overbuild, which is supposed to have that effect for the next 5-6 years, there will be a lot of stress on the petrochemical manufacturers. But this industry has seen that it's quite resilient. मतलब ऐसा नहीं होता कि पूरा इंडस्ट्री बर्बाद हो जाएगा या बंद हो जाएगा. Yes, the strongest people will survive. Maybe the weakest link will go down, and there will be a consolidation. What it means for now processors, okay? Let's talk of India. Now, in India, if you see, we have a stated objective of becoming a $5 trillion economy,
Right.
yeah, by 2030. And historically, if you see also, because of our young population, we have been growing every year double digit. Let's say 7-8% तो अपन GDP growth बोलते हैं. But from a polymer perspective, if you talk of 1.5x of GDP, so you are like 10-12% every year you are growing. Polymer consumption time.
Polymer consumption wise.
Right? So what it means is, as a petrochemical producer, there's a lot of demand potential here. I'm not talking about the margins. I'm talking about the consumption now. As a consumption, we are a growing nation. We are the youngest nation in the world.
Right.
Our average age is maybe 27-28 years.
Yes.
And with aspirations, हर रोज सबको डोमिनोज पिज़्ज़ा खाना है, हर रोज रात को तुमको डाइन आउट करना है. तो that means the consumption is growing out.
Right.
So the consumption will be good. Now what it means for the processors? A, if the consumption is growing, The price point of the polymer is at the lowest price point. So the processors are going to benefit. This is a very sweet spot.
All right.
So if you see in the last 2-3 years, most of the big players in PVC, big players in PP, big players in PE, they are in a expansion mode. They are putting up capacities because they are seeing that next 5 years, next 10 years, the growth potential in this country is going to be humongous.
Right.
From a consumption perspective. And at these price points of raw material, it cannot get better than this. So for the industry, downstream industry, it is a very good next 5-10 years. For petrochemicals, you need to have deep pockets. You need to hang in there. You need to be resilient. Because eventually the tide will turn. Maybe 3 years, 4 years, it will turn. And then you will again be in a better shape, I would say.
Till the time, hold your ground.
Yes. So you look at what PSUs are also doing. PSUs, all the PSUs in India, they are investing in fresh capacities.
Yeah.
Even Reliance has announced that we are coming up with fresh capacity.
Yes.
So we are waiting for the future.
Why PSUs are coming? Means there was a time when nobody was in Reliance and Haldia, only two were there. But Reliance was growing in petrochemicals. But now, at that time, the crude was there, everything was there, but nobody was concentrating on polymer market. Now suddenly everyone is putting polymerization plants.
Yeah, a very interesting thing is happening. See, with the advent of EV, that's electric vehicles, the consumption of fuel, that is petrol, diesel, is going to go down. In China, the consumption of gasoline is already peaked. Now it is on a downward trend because China is leading the EV wave.
Okay.
If you see now, 30% of their new cars which are sold is all EV.
Oh.
India, we are still far away. I would say another 10 years, but it is going to happen. So now coming back to PSUs. PSUs, their main business is petrol, diesel, gasoline, kerosene, jet fuel. These are the main cuts.
Right.
Jet fuel rahega. You cannot put something, or you cannot say मैं flight ground करूँगा. But automotives will undergo a change. So what happens to that fuel? And fuel is a substantial part. If you talk of diesel and petrol or gasoline, it's a substantial part of the PSU operations.
Yeah.
So they are seeing maybe 10 years down the line, इसका खपत कम होगा. तो ये मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? इसका मैं पॉलीमर दाना बना सकता हूँ.
अच्छा.
Because ultimately everything comes from crude.
All right.
You don't make one product, you can make another product. You don't make that, you can make a third product. So when your top two products, which is petrol and diesel, are going to go down, so what is the next best thing? And as I told you, the consumption is going to increase, the polymer consumption or the downstream is going to increase. So what do? I convert petrol and fuel to polymers.
Polymers.
So that's the reason all the PSUs, maybe IOCLs of the world and HPCL, BPCL, everyone has announced their foray into a petrochemical initiative.
Right. Okay. And at the same time, when polymer consumption is increasing, everyone is coming with polymer ban or sustainability point of view. So how currently sustainability, your views on that?
So yeah, I mean, you have to take the good with the bad, right? So right till now I was talking only about good things. But yeah, one of the offshoot of this has been that of late plastics has got a bad name, let me tell you. So let's say in our kids, when they go to school, they are said plastics is bad, or even everywhere you see, okay, ban kar do. But the moot question is plastic bad or our habits are wrong? I think, and not because I am from a polymer field or I'm a biased person, but let me tell you from a green perspective also. This is a wonder material, and the energy used in making this is, I would say, 1/10 at least or 1/50th of its alternate.
Yeah.
So let's say अगर एक एग्जाम्पल, मैं दूध का आपको थैली का एग्जाम्पल दिया, अगर दूध का थैली नहीं रहता तो पहले मुझे याद है मेरे बचपन में हम ग्लास बॉटल में दूध लेते थे. नाउ यू इमेजिन अगर एक ट्रक भर के मेरे को 50,000 बॉटल लेके जाना है तो मेरे को कितनी बड़ी व्हीकल लगेगी, उसमें से कितना ब्रेकेज होगा, मतलब वेस्टेज भी होगा मिल्क का.
Right.
And it will be so much heavy. 50,000 glass bottles being transported from point A to point B.
Point B.
Vis-a-vis 50,000 pouches. वो तुम्हारा ये ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एक बक्से में, मतलब 4-5 बक्से में बैठ जाएगा 50,000 दो आधे लीटर के पाउचेस.
Exactly.
So that is the kind of saving that this material does. But our habits are bad. हम क्या करते हैं, वो लेट्स से हमने फ्रिटोलेस खाया, हम उसको पाउच फेंक देते हैं. That is wrong.
Right.
And I fully endorse it that has to stop. So sustainability is going to be the buzzword, because whatever photographs that we have seen, it's a reality.
Yeah.
That we have polluted our rivers, we have polluted our roads. In fact, I was in Pangong Lake. I ran a marathon in Pangong Lake 10 days or 15 days back. At 18,000 feet also you see a plastic pouch being thrown. So people's habits are wrong. It's not that this is a bad material. And because of its inherent ability to withstand the temperature. And B, it doesn't deteriorate by itself. That is the reason it is used in this.
Yes.
कि वेफर पैकेजिंग में क्यों प्लास्टिक यूज होता है कि
Yes, yeah,
पहले आपको मालूम है वो पेपर में आता था, या वड़ा या जो भी है, वो कांदा भजी अगर रहेगा तो अगर 2 घंटे के बाद देखेगा तो ऑयल विल ड्रिप आउट and it will become soggy.
Exactly.
But the moment it is packed in a plastic packaging, it will remain fresh at least for a couple of hours.
Right.
So its very property of being a good material is leading to its downfall, because people are taking it and people are then throwing it.
Right.
So we'll have to be careful in A, how we design the product, B, how we reuse this product, and C, how we recycle this product.
Right.
And for this, do we really require it? Can we reduce it? So this will be some of the things which we'll have to focus. But sustainability is going to be the buzzword moving forward from here.
And in Reliance also, it is coming with new reroute and many initiatives.
Yeah, a lot of initiatives. So so a couple of initiatives, as you said, reroute is one of the options which has been used in the construction industry. But the bigger game plan, what we are doing is the chemical recycling and the mechanical recycling, where again, it's in a development stage. We have been successful to some extent, but we are taking it to the next level, where we will take the waste, the plastic waste, and we are looking at ways and means to convert it into a feedstock again. So that it becomes a closed loop and you are able to use it again.
What is the difference, mechanical and chemical?
So the difference between mechanical recycling and chemical recycling is, when you're talking of chemical recycling, is you break it down to its molecules. मतलब let's say अगर जैसे वापस वही एग्जांपल मैं दूंगा, प्लास्टिक का वेफर का पाउच, it is a multi-material pack, right? You cannot differentiate ये PP अलग करूँगा, PET अलग करूँगा, alfoil अलग करूँगा, वो नहीं कर सकते आप. So what you will have to do? You will have to take it down. You will have to break it down into a molecule level. It can happen by a chemical reaction. It can happen by again a pyrolysis method, where you break it down to its basic structure in a py oil, and that py oil will again go back to the reactor. Okay. So this is the chemical process. In a mechanical process, it's a fairly easy. अपना पेट बॉटल है, पेट बॉटल को आपने ऊपर का HD कैप अलग कर दिया, नीचे का पेट बॉटल अलग कर दिया, उसका PVC का रैपर है उसको अलग कर दिया, पेट को आपने क्रश किया, it again goes in PET application. HD को आपने क्रश किया, it goes in HD's application, and PVC again you crush it and you use in a PVC. So it's a mechanical process. You segregate it, the products, you again reground it, and you use it again.
All right.
So these are the two different ways of ensuring that you recycle the product back.
So, mechanical, I think you are coming.
So
Just
we are
you have already launched.
we have already launched chemical also. We have already launched mechanical also.
Okay.
Maybe the scale is different right now. As I told you, our aspiration is to scale it up further. Reliance, you have to think big.
Yes.
So you have to scale it up further. But right now we have started where we are doing substantially. I mean, and again, chemical recycling right now, it's very much in demand in Europe. So we are exporting out to, our solutions are being exported right now to Europe. India people have right now started. So the Indian converters who are catering to the European customers, end customers, let's say
Yeah.
a Nestle or a Levers or a P&Gs of the world. So we are suppliers to them. And that's how the chemical recycling is happening. Mechanical recycling तो यार we were doing it for donkey's years. अभी उसको हमने नाम दिया है. Otherwise, I would say in India, possibly we would be the only country where we have so high recycling rate. हम मतलब कुछ भी नहीं छोड़ते. वो रनर जो रहता है मोल्ड का आर्टिकल का, वो रनर भी हम उसको रीग्राइंड करके हम उसमें यूज करते हैं.
Yes.
इवन द ट्रिम्स जो है ब्लोन फिल्म की जो बाजू में जो ट्रिम्स आती है वो भी हम कट करके हॉपर में डालते थे, विच इज गुड. एटलीस्ट इफ यू आर इंश्योरिंग द क्वालिटी डजंट डिटीरियोरेट, इट्स वेल एंड गुड.
Yes. And your guidance towards sustainability for the industry.
So I think one of the things which we at Reliance are also telling that this is going to be mandated by the government. The rules, for whatever reasons, they were supposed to come maybe 2 years before. It has been deferred, but I think hopefully by 1st of April, it should be implemented. If not April, maybe June, maybe July, that is immaterial. The thing is that government also recognizes this issue, and it is a mandate now that first, year 1, you need to use 30%. Year 2, you need to use 40%. Year 3, you need to use 50%
50%.
of your own generated waste in your own product.
Okay.
Different applications may vary, but this is a general broad line.
Broad line.
Yeah. So it's going to be a reality. And you cannot say कि नहीं मैं ये rules follow नहीं करूँगा या ये मेरे को लागू नहीं होता है, मेरा ये application नहीं है. These are the reasons what we hear in the marketplace. That I am not the polluter, why should I pay? So ultimately everyone has to pay.
Everyone has to pay.
And
Because you are part
ultimately
of
as a
it.
consumer, you and me have to pay for that thing.
Because you are a part of chain.
Yes. So I would say that accept this reality and start building on it today if you have not already started it. Because one fine day when the government clamps down that without that you cannot supply,
Right.
your business is going to be at risk. Because there is going to be 10 different guys who have already started it and they will be ahead of your race.
Yes.
So like you have the, without again naming the OEs, you have the automotive guys, you have the paint majors who have already mandated, you have the shoe makers who have already mandated कि भाई तुम्हारे supplies में मेरे को 15 से 20% recycle अभी चालू करो. Because it's not a law, but when the law comes, it will be 30%. And that time if you say अभी मैं सर चालू करता हूँ,
नहीं.
तो it will not happen.
तो उस वक्त R&D भी करना पड़ेगा.
Yes, so that government I think has given enough of us the time to
Think.
come to that level. नहीं तो आप बोलोगे मुझे प्रोडक्ट टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा, मुझे ये यूज होता है कि नहीं करना पड़ेगा. Yes, there are certain guidelines today also where you cannot use it in a food application. Because let's accept it, our systems are not so foolproof कि सब कुछ साफ सफा करके ही खाने के चीज़ में जा सकता है. So we need to be careful. But in secondary packaging, in tertiary packaging where there's no direct contact with food or with human blood or anything, I think we'll have to accept that reality.
Right. Now coming towards the SME sector, as you have earlier worked in SME at the start of your career. So what do you feel currently? What are the opportunities for SME sector in plastics if somebody has to come into the plastic field?
So I think one of the beauty of this industry, or rather plastics, has been that it has always been a sector which was championed by SMEs and MSMEs. है बड़े लोग भी है, but they are very far and few in between. Whereas if you see, matlab, in Bombay, when I started in wardrobes, but then I subsequently moved to Bombay, where in Vasai or Goregaon or even in some of the small places like Malad, people have like small galas, what we call. I don't know what they call in Pune, but even in Chakan, Bhosri, you have small galas where you are with one machine or two machines, right?
Yes.
And like Chakan, in fact, has been the distributor or supplier to the Tata Motors, या Mercedes Benz, Bajaj Auto. एक एक दो दो मशीन लेके लोगों ने काम चालू किया. So this industry has always been, I would say, centered on the small scale guys. So I think it's a wonderful stream where entrepreneur who wants to start, and as I said, the applications are going to only increase from here of plastics. So it's a very good line. Only thing, maybe at some point of time you will have to decide, or you'll have to take that massive leap of faith, the scale. Yes, for survival 1, 2, 3 machines are fine, but if you want to really take the next leap, then you'll have to go to the scale. Because let's say even if you're a supplier to the automotive majors, here you have a lot of automotive guys, they will demand a certain kind of proficiency, they will demand a certain kind of quality in your supplies, and that can come only at a better scale. To start with, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4 machines are good enough, but then you'll have to graduate to the next level.
Yes. And what are the challenges currently for SMEs?
So I think one of the major challenges for SMEs is as I was mentioning, the government legislations or the rules, the CPCB, the Pollution Control Board certifications and all that. So these are challenges. Yes, there is a lot of gray area there. Like sometimes the regulations are very, I would say, arbit. They say कि 50 micron के नीचे बैन कर दो. But जो इंस्पेक्टर रास्ते पे है उसके पास तो कोई गेज लेके नहीं चलता है, वो तो सभी को काला और या गोरे में देखता है कि भाई तुम थैली बनाते हो, ये बैंड आइटम है, बंद कर दो इसको.
Right.
So these are the challenges which are there. I fully am aware about it, that everyone is painted as in black and white, right? There are no gray areas, or you don't have a voice. So yes, I would say have an association which are there at every forum, and make a representation if all such issues come. Then I would say the SMEs or the MSMEs, they don't have access to the latest technologies which come in this line of field. So that's where Reliance helps you by having a PRC or by having seminars where we educate you that look, the industry is going here.
Right.
Let's say an automation. अगर एक मशीन वाला गाला वाला है तो यार वो रोबो नहीं लगा सकता है.
बराबर.
इंजेक्शन मोल्डिंग की बात कर रहा हूँ.
Exactly.
बट देन उसके वहाँ तो वो 4 आदमी बैठे रहेंगे, आर्टिकल निकालेंगे, वो काटेंगे, फ्लैश निकालेंगे, पैक करेंगे. It increases the cost of operations. But if he can be educated, or if there is a kind of a finance program by a bank or someone, okay, look, go into innovation or go into automation, it will definitely help. Right. So these are some challenges where small guys don't have an access to latest in technology, latest in automation, latest, I would say, in innovations. So they will have to either join hands as an industry forum and get themselves exposed, or come to companies like Reliance or IOCLs or Haldias of the world, where it's a program,
right,
to get them up to speed कि यार आज बाजार में क्या नया हो रहा है. They'll have to take that step.
That's what I was asking. My next question was about support from RIL, but you already...
As a support from RIL, as I told you, PRC is there. Then we also have a department inside, we call it as a business development division, where let's say a Vishwesh comes and says that, okay, look, I have the money, I have the capital, but I don't know कहाँ लगाना है पैसे. Because प्लास्टिक सभी बाहर से तो बोलते हैं सभी कुछ अच्छा है, but उसमें भी तो every industry is at a different maturity, right?
Right.
So we have a full-fledged, we call it a business development team, where we have the project reports of each and every vertical. Let's say hygiene है, कोई आदमी बोलता है यार ये hygiene में बहुत सुन रहा हूँ आजकल, hygiene में क्या है, तो we will guide you. First, identify the segment. We will give you 4-5 different options. Then, as an entrepreneur, you will say, अच्छा मेरे को ये 3 चीज़ समझता है, इसमें बताओ. तो we give them a detailed project report. फिर आप बोलोगे अच्छा चलो ये चीज़ में अपने को अभी पैसा लगाना है. Then we help you identify the machineries. We will be just a facilitator. मैं आपको बोल सकता हूँ कि मशीनरी A, मशीनरी B, चाइना का लेना है, यूरोप का लेना है, यूएस का लेना है, आपका चॉइस है. आप बोलोगे नहीं सस्ता वाला मशीन चाहिए, तो go ahead, you can buy a Chinese machine. You said no, I want the best in the technology. Then obviously the Europeans score way ahead. So that decision always will be with an entrepreneur.
Right.
But yes, these are certain things what we do. We handhold the customer. In fact, as I told you in the Rafia example, we go to the customer's customer and we tell them, okay, look, here is the customer. We stand by him in terms of quality. We will supply him a quality raw material and he will supply to you.
Right.
So these are certain things what we do from a Reliance perspective.
Currently, any SMEs having any opportunities in overseas market?
Lots of opportunities. So as I told you, what are the big segments right now which are in vogue is the packaging segment. And when I say packaging, it means both the raffia industry also and the food packaging
Food
also.
packaging.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Recycling is coming out in a big way. So sustainable solutions, if people are able to do, then there is a lot of market in Europe and US where they are looking at sustainable solutions. So these are two things. And then hygiene market, which I told you. So hygiene market is growing by leaps and bounds. And hygiene, when we say, again, there are so many different factors in hygiene. Sorry. It's an adult hygiene, the adult incontinence market. So the diapers. It's the baby hygiene markets, again a diapers. Then you have a female hygiene market. So these are the 3 broad verticals, and in that you decide a place.
Right.
And in all these segments today, India is turning out to be a biggest exporter.
Oh.
So for people, or though you may be an SME, but at one point you'll have to define the scale of what you have to go. So these are the sunrise industries where they can go and they can have an impact.
Okay.
And we at Reliance are there to help you or walk the way with you to meet your customers.
So, thank you, Unmesh sir.
It's been my pleasure. And again, I was doing it for the first time, so I don't know how it is.
This is my first time also.
But I do wish as you are our channel partners, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
VK Polymers. And B, I also wish the industry the best of times ahead. And as I told you, keep on investing. This is a sweet spot that you have as a processors.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.